Now, first off, before we get into this video, I'm sure there's many new viewers here, and I first want to say thank you all so much for coming by to watch my videos. And if you've been around here for a while, you know we got a little bit of a predicament going on in my garage. We got this SCL 500 build, we got this going on for off-road, suspension, and all sorts of stuff. Really fun. We got the Trail 125. Of course, my brand new Africa Twin is in the shop getting repaired right now. It's been in there for about a week. And if you watched my last video, I sold my 300L Rally. But I just got back from picking up something really exciting. I mean, like, seriously, I just got back off the road. I haven't test ridden this bike. I might have just gave you a peek of it. I'm sure you know by the thumbnail. But anyways, I don't know much about this bike. I didn't watch many reviews on it. I read the owner's manual, but I wanted to go about this as a raw impressions. Like, there's gonna be a lot of content coming on this as far as mods, builds, rides, and stuff. Right now, it's honestly a first impressions from a US owner. This is not a media bike. This is not a loaner bike. I wouldn't spend my own money on this, and I will show you the invoice. If you're curious on how much these bikes are costing in the US, I'll show you my actual invoice because it's honestly kind of interesting. You all know I buy a lot of Hondas, some Triumphs. This is my first time going with, well, CFMoto. So it was a little bit of an interesting process, which I want to talk about as well. But anyways, I'm going to go unload this bike, get it in here, get it underneath the lights, and we're just going to take a good look over of it first, and then we'll actually go for that first ride. My brand new 2025 CFMoto Ibex 450, aka the 450 MT. Again, I know very little bit about this bike because I haven't been watching reviews. Like I said, I want to give you my real raw owner's first impressions. Does it feel good? Does it feel cheap? What I like, what I don't like. So I'm going to spin you around. We'll go ahead and take a look over this bike together. Again, this is really my first time diving over the bike, and I want to do that with you guys in case you're curious about it as well. So where should we start? Maybe, let's start right here actually. Let's start with the looks of this bike. And it comes in two colors. This one right here, the gray and neon yellow, and then also that pink and blue, which I think is, I don't know. I don't like the looks. I honestly don't like the colors of either of them. And really, I'm not into these bright neon colors, So my first thing I want to see, which I read online, some people said that these are just stickers, which it is stickers right here. But right here, I'm seeing if I take this sticker off, this neon one here, it's going to take off all of that, which you know what? If it was to remove that neon, I'm fine with it. Okay, yeah, so it is a sticker. Take a look at that right there. You know what? I might have to set this camera down for a second and peel that off because it's starting to like chip. But again, I do not like that neon at all. That I'll definitely be taking this off. And you also have up here, which this is also a sticker as well. Let me see if this one's removable. It looks, yeah, that's a sticker as well. So again, I'm not a big fan of the neon colors. I definitely don't like that blue and pink, but heck, if you can remove that pink off the other bike, I think the blue and white would look really, really sharp. And I think this is gonna look really good with just black and gray as well. Let me know what you all think about that down in the comments there. I personally would have looked the other way from the blue and pink one. I just don't like pink. It's not my thing. I just don't like bright neon colors. But again, now being able to remove the stickers, how good that looks, I can see the blue and white one looking super cool with that pink off there. Gosh. First mod is probably the best mod I could have done to this bike. All these are just regular stickers. They're not into the paint or into the plastics like you see with KTM or Honda. This is an actual sticker you can peel off. You can peel this one off as well. Again, we took that one off. The only thing we got to deal with is, again, the little neon stripe on the back, but I'm sure a bag with some straps would just cover that up right there. But man, I think that looks so much better already. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's continue looking over the bike. And one thing I noticed that is super cool, if I pull you up in here, you can just see like that camo. It's just like different patterns within there, and it goes all the way through the front up here on the headlight, all the way down here onto those plastics on the side of the bike. Hopefully you guys can see that in the camera. Really, really cool, and it wraps all the way around, all the way up to the gas tank there. It's also down here right by the skid plate, back here, back on your little foot blocker by your pedal or your peg. And then coming up here, all these plastics are regular. They do not have that camo. It's really just the ones on the front. On this side, that is not camo, but your foot blocker again back here is not. And then again, everything up on the side of the gas tank does have that camo. You might be able to see it better right here. I think that is so cool. It almost has like that Toyota TRD type of vibe. Now, as I was just scanning over it, looking at the bike with you guys here, one thing I noticed that's kind of weird. So you got the stock skid plate, which this side is plastic here, but down here is metal, and that's pretty solid. Like, it really is. Like, I mean, that's not budging. If I get you underneath here, you can see it covers the whole bottom side of the bike. I don't know if that hose is supposed to be hanging out right there, though. That's kind of weird. But anyways, you can see it goes all the way up here. You got the O2 sensors, one on, can you guys see that in the camera? One right there, and then one on the other one inside there. Radiator guard is plastic. But anyways, what I wanted to show you over here on the skid plate is it's mounted up here onto the frame, which is mounted to the engine, comes down right back there and attaches back here. That is how that skid plate's mounted. So I think a lot of aftermarket companies are going to start taking advantage of that, where you can just bolt it in, bam, bam on the sides, and then that's that. Now we got these little printed things on the exhaust. I don't know if you guys can see that, E4, E13. And then coming up here, looking at the engine, CFMoto branding, little oil. I haven't even checked the oil in it, so I'm sure that's good. You can see the mark from the factory still there, so I don't even know if they do anything at the shop. Coming back here, our suspension, right back there. I guess we can adjust it on the other side. Let's go on over there and check that out, actually, if we can adjust the suspension. Wait, how do you, oh, so, okay, so it's just, there's not a knob. You actually got to use the tool, just kind of like a classic dual sport. Loosen one, then loosen the other to adjust. That stinks. I kind of wish there was a knob. That would have been pretty nice right there. Let's get back to the other side and continue looking at what we were looking at. The exhaust, I heard some people on forums asking the US one, does it have the 1 or 2? Well, you can see right here, it has 1, and this edge bit is painted, so I can see that possibly being an issue down the road with it painted right there. I'm not too sure. Down here, you see we got these J1 brakes. I don't know, I've never used those before. I've always done Honda, Triumph, stuff like that. Again, this is my first CFMoto. Really nice heat shield right here, though. So if you got a passenger back here, really chunky foot pegs, actually. Look at those passenger pegs. Wow. One thing I do notice here, look at this. So we got the exhaust going up there, little shield down here, going up to the exhaust, and our foot pegs. Exhaust is mounted to that, and then our foot pegs are mounted to there. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to remove these passenger foot pegs until some third party comes out with something to mount the exhaust up there and remove this, or get, again, an aftermarket exhaust, which we'll get to listen to this here shortly. But again, first I just want to take a look over of the bike, show you more of that suspension. Oh, let me get you down here. You can see it's got that multi-point. One there, and then another notch right there. So if you want the bike to be lower, you can do that. That's interesting. When I sat on the bike, it was plenty low already, which I'll show you. I'm right at 6 feet, 32-inch inseam, and I'll show you me sitting on it, and it felt plenty fine. If I'm thinking correctly, you can adjust the seat. I don't know. We'll have to check on that as well. But anyways, continuing looking over the bike here. Right over here, I guess this is our coolant that we can look at right there. Where are we? Oh, yeah, you can see right at that line right down there. So that's good. What is this? Oh, that's probably just blocking a bolt to undo the plastics right down there. Again, we got plastic right here, plastic up there. This stuff going on right here is plastic. That is starting to be metal. That's metal right there. Back plastic, metal gas cap. Let's continue looking around. These hand guards, they're plastic. You can see, you don't expect much, right? They're going to move around. They'll definitely get by for you. But you probably want to go with some bark busters if you're going to do some serious off-road. And continuing to the front of the bike here. You know what? Let me go and turn the key. And we'll, oh, by the way, check out this key. That key is super cool. Like, it's not just like your typical plastic like you get from Honda or something. It almost feels like Triumph type style. Anyways, let's go on and put that key in there. And I want to show you these lights, because all these lights are LED. Yo, that looks so good. Okay, now that's just regular. That's just turned on right there. Let me go on and flick the high beam and turn on a turn signal so we can take a look at that. Oh man, I think that looks so good. I love how it's just sharp right there. 2 right down there. I'm getting blinded right now. But man, that looks super good. I really love that headlight. Let's go on and turn that light off. And while we're looking up front, taking a look at that windshield. CFMoto branding back there. Now this windshield is one-hand adjustment. And the cool thing I noticed, it's on both sides. So you got a little knob over here, but you also have a knob over here. Like that's so cool. So whichever hand you have, you know, like obviously you can have your hand on your throttle most of the time, but it's so cool to be able to adjust it whichever one you want. So right here is the lowest position, and then this is going to be the highest position. I don't know, the windshield still seems pretty small. I love the wind blockage coming over here, but I think something a little bit taller might be good. We'll have to figure that out on our ride impressions when we go here in a second. Looking over here, you can see the KYB suspension. I love this bronze. That's super sharp. Yo, could you imagine if they made the bronze of the forks the same style of the wheels? Yo, that would be so cool. I'm super excited about these wheels being tubeless on, again, a budget-friendly bike. That's super cool. Now, these tires, this is interesting. I actually looked at this in the shop. These look just like those Scorpion, what are they? Scorpion Pirellis, if I'm thinking right, like the KTM 890s used to come with them on. I love the tire. It's really nice on the street, and it's decent off-road, but these are interesting. Look at this, CST. Like, I've never heard of that brand. I think it's on the rear one where, no, here it is, look it. They've got an orange saying CST, tubeless. I've never heard of this brand before, but again, it looks like a clone of those Scorpion Pirelli. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to test them out. We'll get a feel of them. We'll go do with some sand. It's been raining a whole bunch out there, so I'm sure we'll get into mud. Again, this is gonna be the first ride. You know, I haven't even checked if there's any miles on this. Let's look here together real quick. All right, load screen. You know, I don't know, were we gonna look at the screen here? But how many miles? 6 miles. Okay, so I don't know if that's from factory or maybe someone rode it around at the shop there. Here's the turn signals. You can see it's got the little lights in there for the LED. Up to the top. Yo, check this out. This is cool. You got a USB-A and a USB-C. Yo, you don't see that on any bikes, really. You know, heck, the Africa Twin only has a USB-A as well. Yo, that is so cool. Now you can see the screen. Right here, you got a little gap, so it kind of sits out a little bit. You can see right there, you can kind of see through it. So there's a little bit of gap going through it, but really nice right there. Coming over to this side of the engine, horn, and again, there's that other bracket holding on that skid plate. There's our engine, this little hose right here. Here's our shifter. I wish this bike had a quick shifter. I haven't even found like an aftermarket one, so that's something I really wish. And oh man, I hope I don't forget to take off. How are these mounted? Oh, they look like are they even screwed in? Or do these just peel off? Let me see. Oh wow, yo, that's so cool. Check that out. So they're not screwed in. I don't know if they're supposed to be a screw because there's a little thread right there. I wonder if they forgot to do that at the shop, because look at, that's where the little thing would slide through for the metal, and then it plugs right down there. Interesting. I wonder if that's how they're supposed to be, or if, again, it was just an afterthought and they forgot it. Let's check the other side. See if this peels right off. Okay, so maybe that's actually an Ibex 450 type thing, because there's no mount inside it. You see the pegs are actually threaded. So again, let me know if you have this bike, if it's just an afterthought. Again, I'll never use these. And trust me, if you're doing any off-road, and take those off because it'll be too slippery. But man, those are some pretty nice foot pegs right there. They're pretty wide, nice chunky bite in them as well. There's our key to get the seat off. Passenger foot peg again, coming around the backside. Right there, here's the other tires, the tubeless. I love how the spokes are coming out. Like, this is what you see on high-end bikes, Triumph, Africa Twins and stuff, you know? Really nice right there. Chain guard goes all the way up to the front up here. And then you got the chain kind of sitting in this little housing as well. Like, some really nice touches here that you wouldn't expect to be, again, on a budget type of bike. So that was the initial look around the body and engine and stuff like that. But I want to show you up top. We'll pop the seat open, fire up the screen. But I think I forgot one thing to show you actually. I want to show you the brake lights back here. And let's see if those are as cool. We got the turn signal on. That brake light LED, yo, the entire thing is lit up. You don't see the little dots like you have on the turn signals here. It's fully lit up. Like, oh man, that is so cool. Now this rack, this accessory rack that's on the back, this is plastic, feels kind of chintzy, feels more like a cosmetic thing. Like, I don't know if I'd really even trust that off-road with a bag mounted to it, because it is pretty flimsy right there. But underneath it, the initial mount is metal. So I think an accessory part back there would probably be pretty darn nice. Let's go and see what's underneath this seat. Again, our little key is right there to, oh, it just clipped up. Let's see how easy it is to remove. Oh, super easy. You just pop it and it slides back underneath the seat. So I got one adjustment right there. And I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera, but only got one notch. I thought you were able to adjust the seat, but it doesn't look like it, because again, there's only one notch right here, as you're seeing. Then right here, you got one notch, and then that other notch up front. So there's nothing else to lock it onto. So I think it's only one position. I think if you want to adjust the seating height, it's just going to be that suspension bit that we took a look at earlier. But anyways, let me bring you closer in here so you can see. We have the battery, all our other connections. Is our air filter just right underneath there? Yo, that is going to be super cool if that's the air filter. I don't know. Might just have to like pull off one plastic panel and get to it. I'm not too sure about that. That'll be pretty darn cool though. Here's all our other controls back here. Again, battery, back to the back. Not really too much to look at. So I just put the seat back on and there is no way to adjust it. And I could have sworn I seen in some spots where the seat was adjustable in 2 levels, but unfortunately this US version or whatever here, my version, you cannot adjust it. It's one position. It's just that suspension down there. But I want to show you me flinging a leg over this bike here. And again, I'm pretty much right at 6 feet, inseam of 32 inches. And I can flat foot this bike perfectly. Like, oh, that is so nice. Fling it. Okay, you feel that top weight a little bit right there. I'm over here trying to just fling it around, but you feel that. I don't know how much gas they put in here, but when I go right over to this, oh wow. And we'll notice this when we're off-road a little bit. When I come over to here, I start feeling that weight just on the side. Like I start feeling the weight more than my 24 Adventure Sport Africa Twin I just parted with. But anyways, just sitting here, like, yeah, I got a little crease in my legs. I can come up here. We'll have to test again the riding position whenever I'm actually on a road. But man, so far it's feeling good. I haven't adjusted the bars or anything. Let me put the kickstand down and try to get both legs up. It just feels really nice. It truly feels like a mini Africa Twin. That's the vibes I'm getting. Now if I stand up, feels like the bars might have to be tilted forward a little bit. That's not a fault on the bike. That's just a quick little adjustment, but I think tilt it up a little bit so they're raised up and I'll be pretty good. Not too bad. Like I got a little lean forward on the bike, which is what you want when you're off-road. So I don't know. Again, we're gonna have to see whenever we're riding, but man, the seat is plush. Like, wow, this might be one of the coziest seats. Again, I haven't gone for a long ride, but there is some serious plushness in this. Now let's go and take a look at the cockpit up here and starting off with the controls, which again, I'm not too sure what they do. Again, in the manual, it shows you a little bit like you can adjust your volume when you're synced up to Bluetooth and you can hold it down to like select tracks and stuff. But these feel pretty solid. They feel really nice and in place. I don't know if you can see any type of gap back there within them, but they feel really solid. The turn signal switch, that feels, I don't know, that feels fine. I don't know, maybe that might feel a little bit clanky, but whatever. Horn. So the key's got to be switched for the horn here. Basic motorcycle horn. You got your ABS on and off, which again in the manual, it tells you all this stuff where you just click this and then hold it for a few seconds, which again, we'll have to try when we're off-road. Other side, we got our power switch, which I don't know, this might make me a little bit nervous, like if you go down, because right now it's just gapped like that. So you got this whole gap underneath. And then when you switch it, you just got that right there. So it's not like that built-in type of switch. That makes me a little bit nervous. And over here are our emergency flashers. These mirrors are super cool. Like how you can just flick them in, just like off-road. And you got nice notches. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's nice little notches within there. So if you want it right here, it actually stays there. The wind's not going to blow that over. Come down all the way over here, it actually stays there. So that's super cool. If you want both of them in, just come right in there, bam, and you're good to go, and they're not gonna move. Like, that's super cool. Usually I always change the mirrors on my bikes, but man, those are pretty solid. I like these mirrors a lot. But let's go on and get up here. I'm gonna fling a leg over the bike. Let's get up here, turn the key on, and actually take a look at this dash. Hopefully there's not too much glare, as you see me in the background here, but that was the load screen. That's how long it takes to load as I just flicked the key with you guys. Looking here, you can see you got your tach, your speed, side stand. Saying I got a full tank with 169 miles. We got our battery voltage, our time, battery voltage again, our miles, our temperature, and then our gear. Now what I want to try, I'm going to hold this ABS button down. I want to see if it actually turns off here. Oh, cool. So look, it went to off-road. It just showed it saying off-road. And then rear wheel ABS off. Now my traction control is also off, which happens with this, but you press it once and then it's off. But if you just press this once, it doesn't do anything. You actually got to hold it for 2 seconds, Bam, off-road, ABS off, and now you can see traction controls off. I wonder if in the menu, if there's some way for me to adjust just traction control, because I usually leave my ABS on, but I like traction control off. That's what I do on the Africa Twins, but again, I don't really know how to even get into menus here. Oh, was that it? I'll say I pressed enter. Here we go, phone mode, so you can activate your phone. Wait, no, let me see. What if I press enter? Okay, so it's already phones and then helmets. Cool, and it actually tells you what to press while you're in it. We got our back button. What was this? Information, basic. Wow, a lot of options in here. So there's basic information we go into, rear ABS. So you can go in here and actually toggle it by just not using the switch. So for traction control right here, and by the way, I'm just pressing the back button and then enter when I get to something. So here I can go enter, turn traction control off, but again, not a switch to just do it on the fly. I wish there was, and maybe there is a way to activate that. Your shifting indicator, your light, and you can change this to what you want. That's pretty cool just to be able to adjust it that easy on there. Let's go back to the other menu. So that was our phone. We already looked at that, pairing up helmets, which you do have to pair up your phone and helmet to get the controls to work. I read that in the manual, so hopefully it's not as finicky as the Africa Twin. That one's an absolute pain in the butt to use. Now, what is this? That looks like a music switch or something. Okay, so I guess that's what it is. So this is gonna be your phone, and that's gonna be your music if you got a phone paired up to it. But again, this is my first time turning it on here. Now we got a bunch of settings. Themes. Oh, cool, can you change the theme? So that's the theme we had on there at first, right? Our gear shift indicator and such. No, that was it. Hold on. Okay, let's back up real quick. What theme did we have? Okay, so we have the circle, tack, and then that over there. How'd I get back in there? Settings. Oh, sweet. It saved right the page I was on. Go into theme. So we got this one. That's kind of looks like a turbo. You got your fuel gauge. What other ones do we have? Okay, so it's just two themes. That one. Let's see what this one looks like here with the little turbo bit. Okay, so that's pretty smooth. You got that tack. That's pretty nice to actually keep an eye on right there. Bam, and then you got your speed. Now, the fuel is one full line here, so we'll just have to see that steadily go down. If we go back, I just want to try this. If we go into other themes and look at this one, I thought our fuel gauge was notched. Yeah, so look here. The fuel gauge, hopefully you guys can see that in the camera, but there's notches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notches of fuel. I don't know. I personally like the notches of fuel because it's kind of like that gauge that you always go off of. I don't know. I'll probably stay on that screen. I kind of like that basic one right there. Coming down here, device connection. Again, there's for our phones, which I guess you can go to multiple things to connect them, control them. Information. Also, you can customize what you want to see. You got your information 1. I pressed the wrong button. Information 2, which I wish it showed you which one it really was. But right here we got voltage. Oh, yo, range, that's cool. I don't care about my voltage, right? Well, we'll see what the range is. That's pretty cool. Then you got average fuel, but I don't know. Range is something I really use. Yo, no way. Auto brightness? Okay, so how do let me see. Up. We'll just crank this up to auto or to full brightness while we're on it. I don't know. I'll probably forget to turn it off. Let me stay where it is. But that's cool that it does auto brightness. Again, we're talking about a budget bike right here and having settings like that. What's the last one we had here? Units, so speed, temperature. Dang, I keep pressing the back button on accident. And then down here, we got some more down here. So we got time, language, system update. Okay, I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, but they said he said he should have done the update. And then we got about. I want to show you something I just figured while I was just about to change sequences to what we're going to talk about. When I adjusted those settings, the information 1 and 2, it's actually just these over here. So automatically you got your voltage over here, obviously your tack and your speed, side stand, but underneath that you have your range. You can see it saying 169 on a full tank. Over here, time is automatically set. So these you cannot adjust. Those stay there, voltage, range, and time. These are the 2 you're changing. So I got odometer, and I went ahead and changed this to my average fuel just so I can see that. So I honestly have all the information I want right there. Pretty darn cool. Now, before we move on to the next segment, which is gonna be me showing you my actual invoice, what I actually paid, and I wanna talk about the process, which is kind of interesting, and then we'll go for our test ride. We'll go through some sand, probably some mud because it's been raining, test on the road. Again, my raw first ride. But first, I wanna crank the key and give you guys a listen to this exhaust. So I'm gonna take my microphone off my shirt right here. I'm gonna clip it to the camera so you can get that raw sound. That sounded really good. Again, I don't know how well it's picking up through a microphone and my camera and stuff, but I'll just tell you straight up, that sounds really nice for a stock exhaust. Now, I was popping and gurgling a little bit there. I don't know if it's because I didn't let the bike warm up or, again, it's so new. I don't know, right? I'm excited to test this out. That's why I'm doing this right here. But I will tell you what, that exhaust sounds really nice for a stock exhaust. But all in all, that's the lookover of the CFMoto Ibex 450 US version with the stickers off, which I think looks so good right now. I just got to figure out that yellow stripe in the back. But first, what I want to do before we go for a ride is go get my invoice. I'm going to show you exactly what I paid to the penny, show you the raw invoice, and then we'll fire it up and go for a ride. I'm sorry this video is becoming a little bit long, but I wanted to give you the whole process again of me just picking up this bike. This is real and raw with you guys. So let me get that invoice and I'll be right back. Here is my invoice, just in a raw form. Now why it's folded over is my address is right there. So I don't want any of you guys to come here and try to steal my bike. But anyways, here is the bike, and take a look at this right up top. It's saying price included factory options, which I didn't get any options. And it's saying $5,121.07. So is that the price from CFMoto? Because right here, it's saying dealer unit price. $5,121. So I wonder if that's how much the dealers are actually paying for it. Hopefully you guys can see this in the camera right there. But anyways, right here, manufacturer suggested retail, $6,499. We all know that. Dealer discount, $1,377. Huh, interesting, because they didn't give me a discount. Unit price, again, that $5,121. Over here, no options, as you can see. Now they're stating freight, $774. I see exactly what they're doing here. This is how dealers try to get tricky. And this is, I've made videos about this before. These are the fees that dealers always like, you know, their freight and their assembly that they try to get you on, because that's just straight up money that they make over the MSRP. So you can see they took that $1,000 off, right? Got there. So they're getting all of this money over the MSRP right there. Trauma tax is just for the state. And then coming down here, I paid in cash, as you see, cash price. But after the fees down here, I got my state tax, which is 7%. Down here, dock fee, $442. So pretty much what I paid over MSRP is $910. If you guys can see that in the camera right there, that's what I paid extra. So out the door, what I paid is $7,500. That's tax, title, all the shenanigans, $7,500 out the door. But I think even more interesting what I paid is seeing the CFMoto fees, and again, how dealers try to finagle us all the time. So I don't know if that's a good deal or not. Again, the bike itself is $6,500, so just roughly right around $1,000 extra that I paid, which again, half of that is tax. So I think that's a fair deal for a hot bike that just came out. I've seen on Facebook that some people are spending like 8,000 something bucks on these, which I think is honestly ridiculous. They tried to get me at like 85 or 83 at first, and I said, yeah, there's no way I'm going to spend that on this bike, you know? So I don't know. Maybe 7,000 probably would have been a little bit more comfortable, but number one, I don't like haggling. I don't know this dealer. This isn't a dealer I usually work with, but it's just, you know, seeing stuff like this, it's like, gosh, I understand they're a business. I understand they're about making money, but they don't need to like take advantage of us. And just seeing how they adjust the price so they can get those other fees, which I don't know, maybe they got to show it to the manufacturer, but again, that's money they're making. So I don't know. I'm not in the business. I'm in the business of making videos and riding and testing motorcycles, you know, so anyways, that's what I paid. Let me go on and gear up, and we'll go out for the first spin.
So here we go. The first ride on my brand new CFMoto 450 MT, or Ibex 450. I just want to call it the 450 MT. I think two names is going to make it so confusing looking for accessories, you know. But anyways, you can see I did put my phone mount on there real quick. This is an awesome phone mount, actually super cheap on Amazon. I've used it on all of my bikes, and it prevents the vibration. You don't got to spend $100 on quad lock. Spend like $12 on this and it's perfectly fine. I've used it on very long trips. Anyways, I also mounted my Nelson Rig Hurricane tank bag here, just because I'm going to get my registration. We're going to do the test ride, and I'm going to go register and everything, but I needed something to put my goods into, but this does fit pretty good. It almost fits the bike perfectly, if you can see right here. But a couple things, we're going to do some off-roading here, my usual route that I do on all of my bikes, and it really puts the bikes through the test, give me a good feel of it off-road. But I want to tell you, when I'm riding on the road, number one, the suspension feels nice. It's not too soft, it's not too hard. The thing I notice is you're really sitting inside of this bike, and this dash is really far forward. Like, yeah, it's one-hand adjustment on the screen, but it's like, I got to get a serious stretch up here. Like, you're not just going to adjust it. You got to lean forward I guess depending on how long your arms are, but you got to seriously lean forward to get to that there. And then again, sitting inside the bike, this seat, it feels super low. Like, again, maybe I'm missing something. Can you adjust the seat and I'm just not seeing it? I can't find a way to adjust it, but I feel like this seat has to be a little bit taller. I don't know if CFMoto sells a taller seat, but even my legs down here, they feel crunched up on this. Like, I feel really compressed. Let me stop here for a second before we get going on this trail. And it just rained, so it's probably gonna be super wet out here. But anyways, if you look here, so I'm sitting and there's my leg, but I almost feel like my legs are up, almost like sports bike-ish, I would say. You know, it's a really weird feeling. Also, I don't know if you guys can hear the exhaust since the microphone's in my helmet. Listen, thing sounds like a, I don't want to say a go-kart because it definitely sounds better, but it's always gurgling. It's not like dual sport type sound, but it's always, it sounds good. It does sound good, but it doesn't stop. Like, it sounds like it's idling high. I don't know. Like, it sounds good. I'm not saying it doesn't sound good by any means, but it's just constantly gurgling back there. Oh, you know what? I gotta turn. Oh my gosh, I can't. I know I gripe about this every time I come out riding. I can't stand going on these service roads and there being all this trash. Like, are people that lazy? I rant about it every time. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the ABS, which I usually leave my ABS on even when I'm doing off-roading, but that's a quick option to adjust traction control rather than going into the menus. I wish I could set that just to traction, because I, again, usually leave my ABS on. But anyway, let's go through here. First ride, and we're probably going to get pretty muddy. You know, I'm going to go into the tax assessor's office all muddied up and everything. They're like, sir? Okay, this is going to be real slimy. Let's see how these tires fare, I guess. Woo, okay. Yeah, you feel the, you know, let me get through this mud real quick here. You still feel it being a little bit of top heavy. Like when you get over, turning over right there, you feel that weight up top still. Even though it's a smaller, lighter bike, you do feel it. I want to say like T7 feel it, but I would say it feels like the Transalp. Now, I'm not going to go straight through these because those are usually pretty deep and I don't want to get stuck. But that's what it feels like, honestly, as far as weight. Oh, man, it's so weird. Like, standing up feels great. This feels really good. Again, I think if I tilt those bars a little bit, it'll be perfect for my posture, because right now I'm definitely leaning up on the bars, which is what you want a little bit off-road. But when I go into that seating position, like, I'm like deep inside this, and I need to go down with that windshield. Actually, when I was on a road, that windshield didn't feel like it was doing much, but out here I feel like it's in my view. Okay, now I usually go up over there. This is where the snakes always are. We'll just give it a shot and see how the tires fare on the bank here. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna slide in. Okay, we're going in. We went in. See, we just had a good rain, and I don't know. Okay, that's gonna whack me. Oy. Hey, first ride, right? We can't be worried about scratches and stuff. Ooh, wow. Ooh, nice throttle response. You know, I've heard some people on forums talking about it being jerky. No, I don't. I know they did the update. Ooh, that back tire sliding a lot. So, sorry, I'm bouncing around here a whole lot. You know, I'm talking about this, that, the other. Again, this is my very first ride, and I wanted to take you guys with me. But let me focus on that real quick. I feel that back tire sliding whenever I go in and give a little bit of throttle on a turn or something. I don't think that's a bike issue, obviously. I think that's a tire, which these are, again, awesome tires. If you're just going to do basic fire roads, I don't think you'll need to change them. I'm actually going on a group ride tomorrow, so I'll get more testing on them. But I more than likely will change them just for the fact that I feel that back dancing a bit, especially in this slicker mud when I give it a little gusto, and I just don't like that uneasy feeling, you know. Ooh, now we're muddy. Yep, that got us. Oh, holy moly. Yo, I don't know if that was just like mud or sand or what, but yeah, these tires are not getting any side bite. Straightforward, you're perfectly fine. Like, even when I'm just riding, just the slightest bit, I feel it like this. Wow, I'm in fourth gear. We got to get out of there. Oof. Okay, yeah, for the kind of riding I'm going to be doing on this bike, these tires got to go, and I'm really liking those Tusk what are they? Tusk Dual Sport or 2-Track Adventure? Whatever ones I just put on my Africa Twin. That's what I'm going to go with on this, because, man, I don't know what are we getting? Like, there's plenty of tread, but, man, there's no side lock. It's just that straight passage through. So I feel that slide going through there. Okay, let's get past this real quick. And then we got a little sand up here. Hopefully I can get some bite here and I don't slide in like what's been happening. Yep, oh, there goes that back. There goes the back. Yep, I'll be ordering tires. Oh, there goes the horn. I'll be ordering tires tonight for sure. Luckily they're tubeless, so it's gonna be an easy change with the Rabaconda. Wow, dang, they are all over the place. Okay, here's a little bit of sand here. Woo, that was fun. That was fun. I think it's just this really slick mud right here because we just had rain. But again, I just like that confidence, a little bit of extra bite. But this little track we're doing here, oh dang, I wanted to turn out of that, but I couldn't. This little track is pretty easy. I'm gonna take you up the road and we're gonna go do that track with the sand pit and everything, which will give us a definite better perception of this bike, and then we'll get our last talk about it as far as our first impressions and first ride. Check this out real quick. I just got off that first trail and now I'm about to get on the road to loop around, but I turned my ABS back on, but the traction control is staying off. I don't know why that is. I didn't set anything, so I don't know why that traction control is staying off. Even if I press the button again, it still stays right there. Oh, them cars want to pass me, darn it. I'll let them pass and then I'll be able to turn up here. In the manual, it tells you for the first 300 miles to stay under 4,000 RPMs. Like, that's almost impossible. I'm going 56 and it's up into 5.5. Like, I don't see how they expect you to do 300 miles staying at 4,000 RPMs. That's a bit ridiculous. But anyways, let me see if I come to a complete stop here real quick. So there's that. Yeah, look. So I'm going to hold it down, make sure I'm not holding anyone up. Off-road's off. Press. Now it goes off. Interesting. Okay. So I don't know if that's a bug or what's going on there. But heck, you all just saw it with me. Traction control was off. Had to come to a complete stop, cycle it, and then it went off. So I don't know, that's kind of interesting. Keep an eye on that because you're going to want some traction control when you get on the road after the trails. Now, while we're driving up to the next trail, which again is a little bit more technical, they kind of got some bobbing and weaving stuff. It's just something fun to really test suspension and sand and stuff. But while we're riding there, I want to talk about the feel. Like, the throttle, it doesn't feel snatchy by any means. It's really nice in that perfect spot of responsiveness, I think. But the clutch, it is light. It feels very nice. It's really light. But in the lower gears, it feels like when you get to that sweet spot that it almost wants to snap into it. I don't know, maybe that's me just having to get used to a CFMoto with the throttle's response kind of being like natural right in it. Like Honda's, you almost got to pull it back a little bit and then get that bite and then get going. This feels like instant pull when you're with it. So not snappy, but more or less you got to get used to the responsiveness of it. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think the combination of, again, that super light clutch with the throttle that's, again, right in line with your movement, I got to get used to kind of controlling them. That's one thing I really noticed as far as riding, especially in the lower gears. Okay, so here we go on the more technical type of section. So that's so sweet that I can turn off ABS and traction control while I'm moving just with that simple button. You know, that's really cool. I like that. But anyways, this is probably going to be a little slicker than I prefer because, again, we just had that rain, but you'll see a lot of my tracks out here. Again, I took that SCL 500 out here, testing out that suspension, Trail 125, Africa Twin. Woo, that back tire, that back tire. Okay, now this is the sand pit. Let's see how we do. Again, it just rained, so it's probably gonna be a little easier. Oh, we got some tire tracks though. Let's give it some gusto, lean back. Not bad. Front's more dancing than the rear right there. All right, let's go on a stop right here. That wasn't too bad. I honestly thought it wasn't gonna go that smooth. Let's go look at my track. This is what I always like to do on this route. You look, where's all that mud flinging up? Jeez.
Okay, let's just see. Nothing caked up too much in the tires, but again, with me sliding through, it's sliding that way because there's no side bite. But let's get those out there. We don't want to cause a forest fire, but man, she's muddy. She's looking good now. That's how you do a first ride, right? Muddy her up a little bit, get a couple scratches on her. Oh, wow, it's seriously flinging some mud. I'm not going to get the high fender extender or deal. I think that looks goofy, but anyways, there's plenty of space underneath here. I don't think we're going to have much of an issue with that, but I might get the extender for back here because, I mean, it's just filling up with mud in there and then down there as well. Man, it looks so much better without the stickers. Oh, look at this. I just tried. I was testing it with a Sharpie. It's not getting down there, but I'm going to cover that up, and I think it's looking so much better. Got my rig gear tank bag. Anyways, let's go take a look at our track right here. Whew. It's actually getting kind of hot out here, you know? We just had snow down south here. Like a pretty good significant amount of snow. I did that little video with me and my son doing the Trail 125, but now it's like 70 darn degrees. It's like, holy smokes. What do you do? Okay. Anyways, this one right here in the middle, that is, oh, it's actually pretty soft. It's softer than I thought, even though we just had rain. That's my track, and you can see, I mean, it is super soft sand. But you can see my tires. Let me show you this one more time. Look at this. So this is my track, and we'll see how it goes. There's my tire. Look how much deeper this goes. So what's happening there, again, talking about these tires, they're not really diving in and biting in. Here you go. Look at that tread. They're almost just sitting. The gaps are pretty close. The tread's not super deep. So it's almost sitting and gliding across rather than biting and digging in. If that makes sense, you know. You can almost see it over here on this truck's tires. But and that's exactly, but look at that's a pretty good line. That's not bad. I mean, that's you know, about what I did on the Africa Twin right there. But again, I'm not really biting in. So again, if you're going to do light off-roading, you're not going to experience stuff like this, soft sand or mud. You'll probably be fine with those stock tires. But if you want to do anything more serious, as much as I think I'm going to like these tires, because I do like the Scorpion Pirellis, I do like that tire. So it came on my KTM 890. But again, just with this experience out here, like they got to go. They got to go. But if you're just doing street and light off-road, and I think you'll be perfectly fine. I've never heard of this brand, but you know, they seem fine. Let's go and do the rest of this little trail here. It's real short, but we're gonna get a couple divots and stuff, and then we'll stop. And I want to again touch base on a couple things I'm noticing about this bike right out the gate. So let's go and fire it up. It sounds so good, even though that's constant. Gosh, it just sounds really good. So here we go. And this bit up here, this bit up here is going to really be able to kind of test the suspension. I'm starting to sweat. Phew. I'm not just going to be muddy when I go into the tax assessor's office. I'm going to be stanking and sweaty. But up here, I got to watch my turns because again, these tires. Yeah, wow. I feel just with that little turn in that sand, I felt the bike go whoop just a little bit, you know. Wow. I didn't think it'd be that bad. But anyways, up here we got a lot of bumps and divots. So I'll really be able to feel the suspension and see how that feels. But so far, man, the suspension feels great. Everything just feels really good. And you know, I was kind of thinking like, man, this thing's gonna sound like a KTM. You all know I did not like my KTM 890. Number one, that engine, it just felt like and sounded like junk, like just marbles in there. This does not sound like that at all. So this is the place with all the divots right here. We'll get some speed. Okay. Woo. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's good suspension right there. That's real nice. I will tell you what, be careful though, because again, how I mentioned, the throttle's kind of like, it's not snappy. Don't get me saying that. It's not like CRF 300Ls, right? Where out of the gate, it's all snappy, so you got to do ECUs and all that. It's just instant with your throw. with your pull on your wrist. I hope that's making sense. So anyways, if you're going over divot and you just go like that, you're gonna feel that pull. So don't think it's snappy. It's not snappy. It's just, what's the right word? Fluid with your motion. Oh, I'm not gonna try to get wet right here. I do not want to get soaked right now. Let's go through that little bit. Ah, there we go. I would say I'd give it a little wash. Oh, I didn't turn the traction control off. I was like, okay, hold on. That doesn't sound good, because the bike's going right back there, you know. Whew. Okay, I thought something was wrong, but I forgot to turn the traction control back off. Okay, so you know what? Let me go on a stop right here. And I want to talk about some of my points and my findings. Okay, so all in all, the Ibex 450, my first CFMoto bike, my first ride, first look over with you guys. Again, just picked it up this morning, so this is raw, real impressions here. And let me just start it right here. This bike is amazing for the money you're spending, what you're getting. Like, it's almost unbelievable, right? And I know a lot of you are probably like me. Like, we're going to see this. We're going to see CFMoto there. We're going to question it. And I'm like, how reliable is this? And don't get me wrong, I'm with you, right? I had a buddy, he had to get his whole engine replaced on his 800 Ibex, you know? So sure, that's always there, but you got a 2-year warranty. Will they try to fight around that if I do my own service? I don't know. But just the bike itself, first impressions, riding it, this feels like a mini Africa Twin. It really does. Minus lack of cruise control, right? That would be nice, but you got the tubeless tires. It just rides like such a great bike. The wind blockage is nice. I mean, there are a few weird, finicky things. This seat feels incredibly low for me, and it's not so much that it's low to the ground. It's so much that it's low right here to this. Like, that whole portion right there feels too low. I need a taller seat to feel proper on this right now and feel like, you know, kind of scrunched up, almost like I'm on my Trail 125, you know. The exhaust sounds amazing, but, you know, back to the seat. The seat is very comfortable, I'll tell you that. Very plush. It does slope forward a little bit, but it's very plush. It's just, again, too low. And then that dash is weird because you seriously got to, like, stretch up here, you know. And I think if you wanted to mount something to this bar, you got to watch out because your gap gets pretty small there if you want to go all the way down to the bottom. But, I mean, these mirrors, the controls, the switches, that ABS going off, you know, like, this bike is truly doing everything we want. Back to what I was saying at first, a lot of us will question this. CFMoto, think about this. What if this bike said Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, or whatever? This thing would be, I mean, this bike's already hyped up. This bike is the internet talk right now. It's the internet buzz, other than the KTM 390s. But if this said Honda on it, oh my gosh, game over. Everybody would own one of these. You know what I mean? This would be the new CRF 300L when it first came out, even though this is hyped up a whole lot. But, you know, only time can tell. I'm going to do a lot of coverage on this bike, from mods to rides, you know, tires, all sorts of stuff. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell, because we're going to cover this bike a whole lot. And we got that other good coverage as well, that Trail 125, that SCL, which is, oh my gosh, such a fun bike. And of course, that new Africa Twin once it gets out of the shop. And now we got this as well. So we got a lot of good coverage coming here, and especially on this bike. We're going to find out, is it worth your money? But first impressions right here, I'm very happy with this bike.